Guys?
Yes, sir.
I think we might have liked this movie.
Maybe.
We did like this movie.
I did.
Yeah.
I liked it too. Ben, did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, I have some thoughts about, like, we're going to deep dive a little bit, but did we learn something from this? Did we learn something about how, what we do here, about our process here?
I learned to love again.
Because I think this is the first time we really liked the thing. And I think I had the impression in my head that if we really liked it, we wouldn't be able to do it well. But
I think we did.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true. Yeah.
So I think, well, first of all, with this one, we decided to do this before we watched the movie. Because Alex and I had never seen the movie before. And mostly. And we were going off of the assumption that it was going to be bad because all of the terrible reviews and what a big old flop it was. But then we watched it and we all kind of really liked it. Like, obviously, there were some parts that weren't great. But I think that happens with a lot of, pretty okay to good movies. But yeah, I agree. I think that we usually do stuff that at least one of us thinks is pretty bad.
But almost always we also have at least one person who thinks it's good in some capacity, at least, has some kind of love for it. And like, yeah, this time I think it was all of us.
Mm-hmm. Wait, hold on. Just as a refresher, which one of us didn't like Batman and Robin?
I don't think it's a good movie. I mean,
it was you.
It's kind of funny.
It's not great.
Okay, it was also Alex. Never mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it was me that time.
It's not like painfully bad. It's kind of entertaining in a way and kind of funny in a way. Like Indiana Jones Became the Crystal Skull is like stomach churning, and then Batman and Robin is like, I can't believe they made this.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. But this one wasn't either of those things. I wasn't like, at the end, I wasn't like, I can't believe they did this, or,
right.
This was disgustingly bad.
But you know what I did feel like?
What?
I was like, this was almost great. Alex, you usually love these ugly babies. And so how did you feel about this one?
Are we talking about the ugly babies in the movie?
No.
The movies ugly babies.
No, that the movies we do are ugly babies, and Alex loves them.
I did enjoy this movie, this Milvy, if you will. It was off the beaten path. I think there were some weird parts to it, like the impromptu musical number in the middle.
That's just because Dan Aykroyd really wanted that band in there.
Yeah, I know, and like I can't fault him for it. It was good. It just felt out of place to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a lot of little things that are off about it. Like Chevy Chase's whole character
in general,
yeah,
is a really big, just wet Muppet.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got like Sonic Adventure 2 a little bit, and like, oh god, I can't believe I'm about to I promise I'm gonna rein this in. I promise.
Good luck.
But like, Sonic Adventure 2 is a dog shit game. And there are a lot of people that just heard me say that are going, you lie! And like, but like, all those people need to think right now about like what the evidence is for that game being good and in their head. And it's probably City Escape, which is the first level. And it's the best opening to any video game ever. It's the best first level, and the rest of the game is terrible. And I think that that's kind of what this movie was, is like, after you watch it, the parts you really loved, like, stuck in your head, like the completely nutsoid, like, dinner scene. That dinner scene is like iconic. It's perfect. It's so good. And like, yeah, basically just all of Dan Aykroyd's performance in it. But like, how much of that movie was like like bloat, right? Like we cut
Those weird unnecessary characters.
right. Like the siblings that like did nothing in the movie, and like the weird adult babies, like that whole scene was just like, so like a lot of what we did really was just cutting stuff out. And also we were like, John Candy should not just exit the movie in the middle of it.
I mean, to be fair, John Candy didn't really, just one of John Candy's characters.
But it's always a treat when Candy's on screen. No, I should have said whenever he's on screen, Candy's something about Candy always being a treat. It's great. It's very funny. I know I just said like Sonic Adventure 2 is the best opening, but this actually had kind of the worst opening. Do you remember when we watched this? Like the first 15 or 20 minutes of this movie is so boring.
Oh yeah, it is weird. They're just like in that weird high rise and no charisma whatsoever coming from wet Muppet Chevy Chase. And then
let's get that hashtag going.
That you're right. The whole 15 minutes of them just being weird, and yeah, there was nothing there.
Do any of the three of us even remember why they were going out of the city? Like, where were they going? What was? Because it never came up.
Demi Moore had to do something.
Yeah,
it was never came up again. Well, they kind of got waylaid.
Right, what was it?
Their destination wasn't important. It was the journey.
Right. Well, I like that we made our destination important. That the character had a motivation for going somewhere.
Who were the ones who got actually murdered in the movie?
Oh, they were just like jerks from like who rolled through town.
Yeah, they were just random people. We had a whole bunch of drugs and guns and alcohols.
Oh yeah.
All the bad stuff.
That's kind of why I wanted, like, at the end of ours when we were talking about like I was like, they should still run people through the Mr. Bone Stripper, because like I was thinking about that scene and like those people were awful. They like pointed a gun at John Candy for no good reason, and like when they went through the Bone Stripper, I was like, good. I enjoyed that.
People deserve to die.
I like this idea, this fantasy of like, there's somebody that you wouldn't mind seeing going through the Mr. Bone Stripper. And if you were in your own sovereign nation, well, maybe you just do it.
I don't know. I guess one of the big things about the movie is I never really knew how to feel, because it was billed as a horror comedy or a comedy horror. And comedy, it did try to be, and parts of it were very funny. And then horror, it tried to be, and I think it succeeded in some ways, but
I think it did. I think you're right that it succeeded in being funny a few times. And I don't think it ever really got scary. It just got upsetting and uncomfortable in like a non-entertaining way. Like they failed to do it, and it just was gross instead. I think I have an opinion about horror and comedy that is, I think they're both like very similar things. They both like thrive on subverted expectations.
okay.
And so like, one time someone was like, I don't know how to write horror. And I was like, well, my method is to just like tell a joke, but make the punchline make people dread instead of laugh. And I think they just ended up trying to tell scary jokes in the movie. And I'm thinking about the two like weird baby people specifically.
Yeah, the baby people were just kind of weird and gross, but they weren't super funny or super scary.
The movie's ending wasn't great either, right?
No.
Like, they didn't know what to do with it. And I kind of liked ours.
We got there eventually.
Something that the movie was really missing too was like character motivations. They wanted to survive, which is kind of, in a horror movie, a lot of the motivation. But that's not interesting if you don't. You have to focus on if all the characters' motivations are survive, then you have to have interesting like character dynamics between the characters that want to survive, or it's not interesting. And they kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Like two of the characters just left in the middle of the movie.
Well, I mean, they did it though. They survived. They got out.
Yeah.
And they got to go and be happy and rich with the cop. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was so weird. I'm sorry. I know, like, I get a little pushback from you guys, but I thought that was so weird and bad that they were like, it's like they got bored of their plot line halfway through the movie, and then they were like, oh, yeah, I guess we need to wrap that up at the end.
Are you talking about the end of the movie was bad or the middle of the movie was bad?
Both of those things.
Okay.
That entire weird arc, like non-arc, was weird for me.
It's because those characters weren't doing anything.
They weren't doing anything.
So when they left, it was just like, oh, okay, there they go. And then when they were there, it was like, okay, there they are.
I feel like I wonder if like Dan Aykroyd knew those people, because it feels like so much of this movie was just Dan Aykroyd putting stuff in it that he loved, like John Candy and like Digital Underground and Giant Babies, maybe. I don't know.
He does like giant babies.
He's one of them, right?
Yeah,
He is.
he's one of the giant babies.
Like Dan Aykroyd,
Why?
because Dan Aykroyd wanted to put that costume on so bad. I guess he was like,
Why?
"This will be great," and everyone was like, "Will it, Dan?"
Doesn't it weigh like 100 pounds?
Like he had to be dying in it, right? They had some great sets. Our sets were terrible.
With all the
They were.
sets were terrible.
Yeah.
How are our sets terrible?
Because they were cheap, Jency.
Have you seen them, Jency?
No, I haven't seen them. They are not real.
Good job.
Exactly.
Jency. That's good. That's good improving right there. Ben, do you not know that we're on a podcast? Ben, do you not know that? Do you not understand?
Ben, where are you right now? How can we find you?
Tell us what you see.
Clearly you need help.
Is it a crazy set with lots of toasters? Is that what you see?
Ours had the...
Every toaster in LA.
I felt so bad because, like, immediately when I was like, I'm changing the junk to, like, weird religious iconography. Like, the moment I said religious iconography, you can, like, hear this in the episode. You go, And I had to steer it away. I'm like, no, not like that, not like that, not like that.
Yes, thank you for doing that. I had no idea where you were going with that, and I was already like, okay, this is straight up horror. I get it. And I am the victim.
Oh, there's this horror game called Outlast, and it already is. I have a pretty good stomach for like horror games, but like I refuse to play that game. But it's just about like being trapped in a mental hospital with like crazy monster people. But the second one is about like this. It's kind of the same thing, but you're in this like kind of a nowhere town that no one knows exists in like the deep forest, and it's about like an actual like southern churchy cult with like. And I was like, no, absolutely not. I'm shutting this down. It was like free. It was one of the free PSN games, and I didn't even download it. Like the PSN was like, it's free, and I was like, then you can have it.
No, thank you. Oh god,
So
that gives me the anxiety.
But I based the like a lot of the stuff I came up with off of the song Black Velvet. And so I liked the idea. I liked the lines Black Velvet, obviously. And I liked the line, new religion that'll bring you to your knees. And I just thought it'd be fun if this guy like worshiped like Egyptian gods and stuff. So hopefully that wasn't too like religiously traumatic. If I made it like stuff that like Greek gods and stuff that nobody really actually worships.
Yeah, it was good.
I wanted him to just have this. He liked the idea of the old ancient religions and how much like power and pageantry they had. Did anyone get my deep cut Ghostbusters joke?
Can you say it for us?
There was a part where he's trying to remember the name of a god whose name starts with G, and he's saying like, the Sumerians and the Hittites Worship Day. What was it called?
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, I blacked that out.
You blacked that out? What?
Yeah, because it wasn't funny.
No!
I'm just kidding.
Ben! Jeez. No, I'm sorry. I just didn't remember it.
It was Gozer. You were looking for Gozer.
I had a thing, but now I don't remember what it was.
Was it a penis made out of a bone?
Y'all. God. Can we not?
Jincy, I sat at my editing table for a very long time, and I was like, does Jincy remember this bit? And
no, for the record, not until just now.
I mean, like, does Jincy remember doing it at all? And I was like, does Jincy want me to cut this out? And then I was like, nah, it's funny.
Yeah, no, but you guys know that I understand basic anatomy. Like, let's go ahead and set the record straight.
You do know that penises have bones.
Moving on.
Let's talk about Fiasco.
Okay, let's talk about Fiasco.
Yeah.
It was not a fiasco.
I honestly, the only thing, if this worked really good for us, I think it took us a little bit to get it because it is like pretty outside the box. I liked how it forced us to both forced us to do things that we might not have done normally and gave us a lot of tools to make a story with. Particularly the like tilt was very useful. It gave us the tools to create like excitement and drama. And like, man, I would almost like pitch to just use it for everything we do if it was longer. If they could make some sort of like longer form version of Fiasco, I would love to play that. Something that took longer than a couple hours.
Yeah, maybe for future very short GM-less movies, we can use it again. We can pull it back out.
There is a version of it. There's another version of Fiasco that uses cards, and we could try that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's like brand new. They just ran a Kickstarter for it like a couple months ago.
Yeah, playing with Fiasco was really fun, and I do feel like we got the hang of it pretty well, but we did not get the hang of it quickly.
No.
I remember it took us forever, all three of us really just being like, okay, what does this mean? What are we doing here? And finally, we had to go read the scripted part at the very back, or we wouldn't have known.
We were gonna have a like bonus content episode where, as practice, we just played a game of Fiasco that wasn't based on a movie, but like we couldn't do it. Like we didn't get through that game, so that doesn't exist. Sorry, like I just trashed that audio.
Yeah. Because we did try that, and we were like, I don't know how to do this. But they have that scripted in the back of the Fiasco manual. They have like a whole game that's scripted out.
Yeah, to Fiasco's credit, the manual is actually very good. The book is great. It's very well written. It's just like, it's so hard to wrap your head around it. Yeah. Because it's like nothing you've ever played before.
Yeah. And like once you get down into it, once you get to playing it, like it's definitely accessible, but no, it's weird to learn. It's hard to learn.
It's intuitive when you're playing it. It's not intuitive when you're learning it. But it surprises you. As it like hands you tools from the toolbox. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, this is good. This is making me do things. I think if you were stuck like writing a script for a movie, you could do worse than to play this game to fix it. Yeah.
I agree. What else we got?
This was a short series, so maybe we just don't have a lot to say about it. I think that's one of the ways we made this better is we simplified it, and then we cut out a lot of unnecessary moving parts, and then we fleshed out the few parts that we kept in there, and I think that was smart. And so but because of that, we don't have just like a ton to talk about. Simplifying this movie is what made it better.
I agree. We
didn't really get any like good rehashes except for Fran Sweeney's standing order to make it gayer.
Yeah, it's always good to make it gayer, but
actually we did.
We already made it pretty gay.
We finally didn't doom the gay relationship. We did everything we could to not do that. Like, good for us. We doomed every other part of their lives, but they got to be together.
We did get one note from Jeanette. she had said that the only real problem she had it with that she could fix was making John Candy's character, but both of his characters the same person. Like the cop would just become the cross-dresser. Yeah. Instead of them being two separate characters, it's just the same person.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, I seem to like that one.
Oh, I like that. That is funny. That's cool.
Your wife always coming through.
I know, right? She's pretty great.
One group of people. Yes, that's how you say that. One group of people that I really want to thank is the Lost Fingers. We didn't like explicitly partner with them like we did with the Wolves of Chernobyl or like a band called Challenger Deep that we'll be using in our next series. But I ended up using a couple of their songs. I wanted to use their cover of Black Velvet in the first episode, and then I found out that they had a cover of Cotton Eye Joe, and we referenced Cotton Eye Joe like 3 times the first episode, and so I was like, it's too perfect, I can't not do it. So I just ended up using 2 of their songs, even though I never actually got like explicit permission to do that, but they seem very nice, and the music is really good. They do a lot of covers like that. They oddly also have just a ton of Christmas music, but they're on Spotify. You can look them up. Got a little bit on YouTube. I'm sure you can buy some albums. They have a few original songs too. I just really end up liking them. So please help me get my good karma back for like just like being like, oh, this is good music, I'll just use it, by going and listening to the Lost Fingers. They're very good. Let's thank some people for tweeting about the show.
Oh, some people tweeted about us, and we really super duper appreciate that. Some specific people who tweeted about us was, one of them was at Cat Comic Studios, who makes the webcomic Key to the Future's Fate, then the Monster Hour podcast, Kim from Chaotic Goodness podcast, who's one of our #1 fans, Chase Irwin, Spit and Polish podcast, and Jackie Castle, who is the author of The Seclusion, and she's going to be our guest on the next episode, which will be another one-shot writer's room style episode that was like our Christmas episode. And this time, it's going to be on Jared Hess's Gentleman Broncos, which, as we all know, is a terrible movie, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
It really is. It's so gross. Please tell your friends about this podcast. Please tell your friends about this podcast. Like, if you love us, if you're like, hey, this is really good, like, please don't be shy. Please tell someone about us, because it's the only way we'll grow. I kind of thought you two would like join me in my begging, but you just sort of let me take all the groveling.
I mean, it was just kind of sad. I just wanted to let you.
Cool, thanks.
Yes, please tell people. Thank you. We love you guys. We love those of you who do listen to us, and we love especially the people who talk to us in our Discord chat. We really love those people especially. So if you want to get in on our Discord chat, we've got a Patreon.
Well, let's shoot a special thanks to Rob T. Firefly, who is one of our newest patrons, along with Marissa Jones. Also signed up for our Patreon. They've been chatting with us on the Discord pretty heavily here lately, and it's been pretty great. We've been having a lot of fun with those kids.
Those children.
Yeah, they're tiny baby kids.
Just 1-year-old fragile infants.
2-year-olds. They're not.
They're not.
Yeah. They're not babies.
Still in the little bed in the hospital.
Yeah.
The dads are like peeking through the window being like, that one's mine, that one's mine. That's how young they are. That's how children they are.
Hooked up to respirators to help them breathe after laughing at all of our funny jokes.
I don't like that one. I don't like thinking about babies having to be on respirators.
Why are you talking about our patrons as being babies?
Because
they're grown adults. I'm pretty sure at least one of them is. I think both of.
Which one? Which one, Jency? Which one do you think is the grown adult?
I think they're both grown adults. I just think that at least one of them is older than I am, and I am not an infant.
Are you not?
I'm pretty sure I'm not. Last time I checked.
Are you sure? Okay. Are you sure you're not a tiny? Like,
please don't. Not again.
Little beet red.
Just stop. I don't.
Wearing the little hospital bracelet.
No.
grab it on the fingers like with their tiny little fists.
Why?
Our next episode is going up on February 19th, which is 2 days after my birthday. You know what? I actually figured this out today that I think all of our birthdays are within like 30 days of each other.
Oh yeah?
Oh, that's cool.
Including the person who Charlie Welsh, our guest for our next series, because his birthday is like 2 days after mine. And so like it would just be just a wonderful birthday present if like somebody would join our Patreon or get on the Discord or tell their friends about us.
And we also get to sing happy birthday to Ben right now because this is the last episode that will air before Ben's birthday, right? Is that right?
Yeah, it'll be on the 5th.
All right, ready, gang? That means me and you, Alex. You're part of the gang.
Let's do it.
We're gonna sing happy birthday to Ben.
All right.
Ready? 1,
2,
2,
6.
3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Benjamin.
Didn't think I'd stop singing.
Happy birthday to you.
I don't even care. It's still attention. Attention was on me. I appreciated it.
Yay. I'm so sorry. Alex's beautiful singing voice brought me to such emotions to where I could not keep singing, but happy early birthday, Ben.
Thank you.
You did it. You're like 65 years old now.
I really appreciate everyone that kind of stuck with us during us having some fun with some obscure movies here for just a minute. We're going to get back to some like the big budget, the big famous flops here coming up. We got something very exciting for our next series.
Yes.
So get ready for that. As a matter of fact, if you want to take a guess, I did this one time and I had a lot of fun because no one guessed what we were doing next. But if you want to take a guess what we're doing next, hit it up on Twitter. Use that hashtag Roleplay Retcon.
Yeah.
I will go and give you a hint. It's not Star Wars. It's going to be a long time before we do Star Wars. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you
Bye.
for joining
Okay,
us.
see you then.
Bye, kisses.
Bye.
Bye. Kisses.